6, we're back again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.
Hey everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
Well, we have had the most interesting weather this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
We had Rexburg Pride on Saturday. We vended and had a blast and just had a super good time. But that didn't end until 8, and we froze to death, believe it or not. Yeah.
It turned off really cold for a few days at the end of last week. It even snowed in Island Park.
Mm-hmm. Well, this morning when I went out to feed the crows, it was 37 degrees Fahrenheit, and I could see my breath.
It's nuts.
How can it possibly be the end of June? Yeah.
Right. Normally this time of year, it is hot as balls around here.
Yeah.
And it had been.
It had been, and it's going to be again here in just a minute.
It is. But yeah, we had a really, really weird cold snap that was crazy. We were expecting to be so hot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I bet. I've wondered about how everybody's gardens are faring with this.
Right. My flowers look fine, but my tomatoes it's been some real ups and downs for them. So I don't know what to say, but yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Yeah.
Joelle says it was 96 there. Yeah. And see, we would have expected 90s easily at Pride. And no, we got 40s.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah. Still, though, I'd rather that than superheat, so it was fine.
Yeah, me too.
And Pride was really great. No trouble this year at all. No issues.
None.
No, the security guards were like, yeah, there's been nothing, which is great. Because see, 2 years ago at that Pride, there was a man with an AR walking around scaring the shit out of people. So very, very glad it wasn't like that this year.
There was somebody like that last year too that was just not really scaring people, but like just walking around carrying one.
It's menacing.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's menacing. There's just no getting around the fact that it's menacing.
Yeah. Hey, Chloe, welcome. Yeah. So anyway, it was all good. So happy to report.
It was.
Yeah.
It was great. And there's all kinds of stuff happening in the true crime world. So as you can imagine, we're trying to hit on all of it. So we have something going on in Utah today. And we're also going to be talking about, you know who, Barry Morphew.
Barry F. Morphew. Quick note, however, a lot of you who sent us the article coming out of East Idaho News about the missing children from the FLDS situation. We will cover it tomorrow. We just already had a whole show planned out today, so that's
we know, and we're
all
doing
over it.
What we can to figure out what the hell's going on, and we'll be talking about it.
Yep.
We will. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about how Utah is still not okay. Judge Don Torgerson, this guy, is all over the news in Utah right now, thanks to the sentencing. Are we sisters? We are sisters, yes. Thanks to the sentencing of this young man, Aiden Hoffman, last week. Aiden was in court to plead guilty to, having child rape material. He also possessed over 100 images, videos, and distributed them to other people. He pleaded guilty to 2 felony charges of sexual exploitation of a minor. 10 other felonies were dropped, as we know, with these idiots. They get away with a whole lot.
He was charged with 11 felonies, and they dropped 10 of them?
Yeah, 12.
Is that what you're saying? 12, okay.
He pled guilty to 2.
And they dropped, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, Utah.
So prosecutors were asking...
It would be the same here.
It would. Prosecutors were asking for prison time.
Yeah.
Asking that it would send a clear message about the severity of this crime. His defense attorney, there's one of the links in our show notes actually goes to a video of the hearing. I didn't prepare it to air it because it's very long and it's also very weird and hard to watch. Like, it's just the judge's live feed and it's not very good.
Utah's live stream is rough. And they a lot of times
to do.
Unless it's like Corey Richins, there's never a camera in the courtroom. And the live feed is horrible. Yeah.
There was a camera in the courtroom, but the box where the courtroom was like this big. And then there were all these other people on this video call that are just blank squares. So it was dumb. But
this is how it is every time we record Nick Alaverdian or Nick Rossi's stuff. It's like Zoom, only it's a different like company, but it's like that. It's really tough to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. But there's a link in the show notes where you can watch it. His defense attorney talks all about how he's in an appropriate relationship and he's maintained a job and blah, 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 blah for 6 months. Guys, he's been doing good for 6 months. He's in treatment. He's real sorry about this, which, whatever.
No, he's a predator.
He is a predator. He got sick. While he was sick, he got into porn, and then he just got into this really bad porn, guys. He just sort of tripped into it accidentally. And then he got a Kick app and he started sharing, these horrific videos on the Kick app. Okay. These are the things that this kid did that he pled guilty to.
Yeah.
They actually show the judge 2 of the videos. The judge has the gall to say he's seen worse. Which, what? He's been a prosecutor before, but what does that mean? Then he told Aiden that he's only 22 and he's lived a life of some privilege, and he did serve 4 months, which seems like a lot of time for someone his age and of his privilege.
Oh, for the love. Oh my God.
And he says, because of the privilege you've lived with, I think that 4 months was a long time for you in jail. I don't think you need to go to jail anymore. No prison time. He does have to register as a sex offender. There is some prison over his head, and he does have to be on probation for 4 years. But, sweet little Aiden.
We don't want to ruin this young man's life. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bordering on all of that.
Right.
But the privilege part was so gross. Like, thanks for saying the quiet part out loud, you jackass. Oh, also, he said, you have parents to support you. You can be a voice for good. And if I see you again, I won't hesitate to send you to prison. Shame, shame, shame. What? We're going to give you a pass this one time.
Sure, Judge. We believe you. Yeah.
The prosecutor is absolutely incensed. He said we should look at defendants and their actions that they've done and not make it lesser because of their affluent status or their privilege. The investigator spent more time
at all.
Right. Why? The investigator spent more time likely investigating this case than the defendant spent in jail. Well, some Utah politicians have gotten real mad about this and spoken up and said, this judge needs to resign post haste. If not, he was appointed by the previous Governor Herbert, in 2018. They've said that they will look into impeachment proceedings if he doesn't do this for himself. The county attorney also said any child being abused is terrible, dreadful. It shouldn't be downplayed.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, guys. This kid is from Maine. He must be living in Utah for some reason. He's also facing charges in Maine. He's charged with 3 Class C felonies for possession of sexually explicit material relating to a child age under 12. So,
oh my God,
these aren't even all his crimes. And this asshole thinks he doesn't need to go to prison.
Did the judge know that?
I'm quite sure because the prosecutor did. Let me tell you what the Utah State Courts have put out. This is gross. And the link with the Utah State Court statement is where you can watch this hearing. Basically, what they're saying is that the sentencing imposed by him was squarely aligned with the 2025 adult sentencing, release, and supervision guidelines. This boy was 20 when it happened, so they think that, if you're under 21 and you commit a sex crime, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't be as bad because somehow you're not still a risk to the community, except we absolutely know that you are.
And yet a black kid commits a crime at 16 and we try them as an adult. At 15, exactly. At 14. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Also, the judiciary statement does not address in any way the judge's privilege statements to this little shit. It is disgusting.
Yep.
And this kid is facing, hopefully Maine does better than Utah. This is a dangerous person. Not only is he viewing these rape videos, he is disseminating them. Yeah. Youngest being 3.
Oh, for Christ's sake. This isn't like a kid who just, was watching porn and ended up watching teen porn, which is not porn. It's CSAM, but this is a far cry from that.
This is absolutely hideous.
And you can't tell me that any 20-year-old on the planet of Earth can't look at something like that and know it is wrong. You just can't tell me.
Immediately know it's wrong.
Even if he has a lot of money in his bank account.
Right.
Give me a break.
So hopefully Maine does a better job. I hope they take him back there and we don't have to deal with him in Utah, which is very close to us. Mm-hmm. I'm just speechless about this judge. There are calls for him to resign. If he doesn't, it looks to me like some members of the House of Representatives in the state of Utah are going to seek his impeachment.
So he's been a judge for 7 years in Utah.
Yeah.
How many other sentences like this and statements like this has he handed down that just didn't happen to be caught on camera?
Good question. That is exactly what I would like to know. I would also like to know that if he's seen worse, if he's the same kind of guy that's looking at this shit, because how many public officials have we seen in Utah come down? Be taken down for this shit.
Like the judge
I'm not saying
Tremont?
he is. I'm just saying that is a pretty disgusting view to take.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Of viewing videos of children being raped and then giving the man who had them no jail time, no prison
and
time.
Saying, I've seen worse. You've seen worse videos of children being raped, Judge?
He says it's because he's been a prosecutor, but it is a weird thing to say. It's a creepy thing to say.
I guess I thought that children being raped was children being raped. I guess I didn't know
that you could qualify it. I'm horrified by this person, and he needs to be taken from the judiciary immediately. Hopefully Maine will put this young man away before he hurts anyone. He swears he's never actually touched a child, and he passed a polygraph because he's had a psychosexual evaluation. I'm sorry, polygraphs, you know what, they're not admissible in court. That's what. Yep. So I don't think that means anything. And when you consider how many of these cases we have seen coming out of Utah recently, there's a major problem.
Yeah.
If their judges are looking at this like this. So I knew that you would all want to know about that. His name is Judge Don Torgerson. And please keep an eye out for him. If he is in your community, it's very good for you to know that this is happening. This is Canyon County in Utah. And, hopefully we get the good news soon that he has resigned.
Yeah. I mean, good on the legislators. I mean, I kind of hate to applaud public officials for doing the obvious right thing, but in this case, I'm going to because get him out of here. Your kids aren't safe in your state. They haven't been for a long time, but lately it has escalated beyond any
Clear
kind
to
of
the
reason.
Judiciary.
Yeah.
I mean, there is another judge in Utah in Tremont that has just gone down for.
Yeah. And guess what he did with his judicial privilege? Let other predators out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe there ought to be a review of Torgerson.
Absolutely.
Because absolutely nothing about this is okay.
No.
And with that, Katie, I'm going to kick the mic back to you.
Okay. Well, did we think the day would ever come? On Mother's Day,
I was wondering.
In 2020, Suzanne Morphew went missing in Colorado. She just vanished. And there was a lot of speculation. There was a huge search for her, turned over no stones, or a few stones, but nothing that made much sense. And they didn't find Suzanne for a long time. There were people who immediately believed that her husband, Barry Morphew, had something to do with it. It was uncovered at that time that Suzanne had been having an affair and had been trying to leave Barry. It was uncovered at that time that there had been some domestic violence in their house and that things had been pretty rough in their world. Yeah. Barry went uncharged for quite a while, and people were pretty incensed about it. And then finally, in I'm going to say 2022-ish, he was finally charged. And the police made a statement, the sheriff's office made a statement basically saying, we did not recommend this. We didn't think this should have happened. Well, the prosecutor went in, both barrels loaded, and charged him, and things went poorly. The prosecutors seemed to be unable to do this. And it drug on for a certain amount of time. Barry really went out of his way to mock the courts and mock anybody who, cared about Suzanne. Their children, their girls, were firmly on Dad's side at court with him when, unfortunately, the charges were dropped because the state didn't have much.
They should never have charged him. It was way too soon.
They weren't ready. And we were all very disappointed because we've all been invested in this case since the very beginning, since Suzanne went missing. Yeah. And then in 2023, what happens? They find Suzanne's remains and skeletal remains. And again, we went, shit. Can they get anything in an autopsy from this? Will there ever be a resolution to Suzanne? There were some very sketchy things about Barry. The arrest warrant was pretty clear of all the shit he had done, but they didn't have enough to convict him of murder.
No. Well, and they didn't even have proof that she was dead.
Right. They had nothing. They didn't have nothing. They had things, but they didn't have enough. Not by any stretch. It was
very circumstantial and a no-body murder.
Yeah. His lawyer was very flippant with the public. It was a real fuck you to anybody who thought he was guilty. He was litigious. But he was out. Well, on Friday, the good news broke that Barry Morphew has been indicted now by a grand jury. Yeah. Why? Well, it's pretty compelling. So I'm going to let the DA tell you about it. So let's watch the video. It's 16 minutes long. We probably won't watch it all. When they break to questions with the press, we'll cut out of it. But she does a good job explaining why they think they have enough to try him now and why the grand jury had indicted him. So let's check it out.
Mm-hmm. My name is Megan Bagwell. I'm the Director of Administration for the Office of the District Attorney here in the 12th Judicial District. Standing behind me is District Attorney Ann Kelly, that is Kelly, who you'll be hearing from shortly. I also have Sheriff from Saguache County, Dan Warwick, Warwick, Chaffee County Sheriff, Andy Rorick, Rohrich, and Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Agent in Charge, Chris Adams, ADAMS. After District Attorney Ann Kelly's statement, she'll be available for a few questions. Any other questions after that can be directed to media@da12.state.co.us. Thank you.
I appreciate the members of the media that are here today. I scheduled this briefing to provide an update on the investigation that has been in the hearts and minds of the people of Chaffee County since Mother's Day of 2020. Suzanne Morphew was reported missing on Mother's Day 5 years ago. Law enforcement has never stopped working to obtain justice for this mother of two, this daughter, this sister, and this beloved member of the Chaffee County community. Through the tireless efforts of the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the Saguache County Sheriff's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I can announce today that the 12th Judicial District Grand Jury returned an indictment. The grand jury has indicted Barry Morphew on the single count of murder in the first degree. Law enforcement, the Chaffee County community, and Colorado as a whole has never stopped fighting for justice for Suzanne. Cold case homicides are tremendously difficult. They're difficult for the families of the victims and the communities who wait patiently for answers. While it may seem at times that the world forgets about these victims, I can assure you that my law enforcement partners and Colorado's law enforcement community do not forget. Every unsolved murder is a tragedy, and we must never give up on our efforts to find answers in these cases. My office will be prosecuting the indictment as Suzanne's remains were found in Saguache County, which is a county within my jurisdiction, the 12th Judicial District. I am extremely appreciative of Michael Doherty, who is the elected district attorney in Boulder County. He has consistently committed material resources to small rural DA's offices like mine to assist in the sometimes Herculean efforts to bring justice for victims in rural areas of our state. His commitment to rural Colorado he's continued his commitment with this case. He's provided me with the assistance of a chief deputy in the Boulder County District Attorney's Office to assist me with the investigation and the prosecution. Colorado's community of prosecutors is committed to assisting wherever the need arises. In addition to Mr. Doherty's assistance, District Attorney John Walsh of the Denver District Attorney's Office has committed to providing me with appellate guidance during the case proceedings. So today I have with me Chaffee County Sheriff Andy Rorick. I stand united with Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker. I stand united in announcing this indictment. Through this process, I have seen firsthand how deeply Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker and the entire Sheriff's Department in Chaffee County cares about this case. I am proud and appreciative of our cross-jurisdictional partnership and their hard and excellent work. I also stand with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who has never wavered in its commitment to this investigation, providing essential intelligence and investigative resources and expertise through the years. I also recognize and appreciate our continued partnership with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation has done incredible work, and their CBI agents and analysts have worked very, very hard to advance the goal of finding answers in this investigation. Here representing the CBI is Agent in Charge Chris Adams with CBI's Pueblo office. I also stand with Saguache County Sheriff Dan Warwick, who is here with me as well. He and his office immediately answered the call to action when Suzanne's remains were found in the county he represents. Sheriff Warwick and his deputies are an essential part of this team, responding to the recovery of Suzanne's remains with the highest level of dignity and professionalism. I also want to continue to recognize what I have come to expect in my years as a prosecutor, and that is multi-jurisdictional and multi-state cooperation and partnership. I want to recognize the Arizona Department of Public Safety, who immediately responded to our team's request for assistance in locating and arresting Barry Morphew in the Phoenix area. Mr. Morphew will be held by Arizona authorities pending extradition proceedings in that state. And upon conclusion of those proceedings, Mr. Morphew will be transported to Alamosa County to stand trial on the indictment. This indictment has been unsealed upon the arrest of Mr. Morphew. I asked for this briefing to provide you with an update and provide information to the community. Me and my team recognize the importance of being laser focused on the prosecution and to speak with one voice. And so for that reason, all of the agencies that have been involved in getting us to this place, as well as the prosecutors that have been willing to assist me in this investigation and prosecution, they have all been instructed to send any media requests to my office, and so that's what I'd ask of you. In an effort to be transparent, I'd like to thank the the Office of the Judicial District in this district for making the indictment immediately available, and so you can get a copy of that indictment on the State Judicial's website. It is linked on a page labeled Cases of Interest, and it's under Alamosa. Barry Morphew is presumed innocent in this case and that presumption remains with him unless and until he is convicted at trial. And so once again, thank you for allowing me to provide an update to the community on this very important case. And I can take a couple of questions if you have them.
Now that's a politician talking right there.
Right.
Wow.
But they finally did it.
This is not the same county and prosecutor as previous.
No, it's not the same. Nope.
Which is wise, I think.
And she, I think, has her shit clear together.
She does appear to.
What they're saying about the autopsy. When they only find bones, our hearts sink because so frequently they have no idea what the cause of death is. They have no idea a lot of things. The forensic evidence is pretty slight with a skeleton. But Barry really fucked up here. And boy, did he think he was slick.
He did.
In the autopsy, the manner of death was listed as homicide by undetermined means in the setting of butorphanol. I'm probably saying that wrong. Azaperone and medetomidine intoxication. In other words, she was really drugged, which is exactly what the first prosecutor said. He said that Barry shot her with a tranquilizer dart in their house, and then he chased her around the house until it took effect, and then killed her and disposed of her body, right? Well, here's the thing. This stuff is known as BAM. It's highly regulated. It's only sold by one company in the entire United States. So if you have it, they know you have it.
Yeah.
And guess who had it?
Barry Morphew.
Mm-hmm. And he was the only private citizen living in Colorado with access to it.
And, I mean, they knew that he had it, and they knew that he had a gun to use it. That was in the original investigation.
Yep. He bought it in 2017 and in 2020. Nobody else did. You did, Barry.
Yeah.
That, along with the other evidence that they had, is going to be enough. There's a lot of compelling cell phone evidence as well.
Yeah.
I think they can do it this time. I really do. This, by the way, is Suzanne. She was an absolute angel. People that knew her loved her so much. She was in a domestic violence marriage and had been for a long time and was really trying to get out. Yeah. Which,
and yes, he was living in Gilbert, Arizona.
Yeah, get that.
Of all the ironies.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he was, real worried about where she was and if she was going to be coming back when he moved to another state.
Yeah. You know who never searched for her when she went missing?
Barry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Paula said, Agatha Christie taught us all to use common poisons, right? Only use common poisons. Right. You just had to get fancy, Barry.
Yeah.
And you cooked your own goose. I sure hope
Sure
so.
did.
So he was arraigned. He's waived extradition. I'm going to share that for you. The video is rough. It's another courtroom cam kind of thing, but you know, I think we all want to see a bit of a perp walk here, so.
Yeah, we do.
Good evening, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Barry Morphew, 10/17/67.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you are here today on a warrant from the state of Colorado, and they have indicated that they want to extradite you back to the state of Colorado. Did you get an opportunity to review that laminated card that was given to you today?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a choice to make here today. You have two options, and we're going to go over what your options are. So first, let's discuss what you're here for. There is, again, a warrant from the state of Colorado. They've indicated they do want to extradite you back to the state of Colorado related to an offense charge of homicide. In this case, you have the option of stating, I am ready to be returned to the state of Colorado. If you were to choose to do that, you would be waiving your rights to any hearings here in Maricopa County. You say, I'm ready for Colorado to come pick me up. If you choose to do that, you would be held here in the Maricopa County jails, non-bondable, for up to 30 days, giving Colorado 30 days to come pick you up. That 30 days would start tomorrow, so long as you do not have any local pending charges here in the state of Arizona. In the alternative, I could set a hearing here in Maricopa County on June 30th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. In this case, you would be stating you want to have an extradition hearing, and before you're extradited back to Colorado, you're demanding that both governors, the governor of Arizona and the governor of Colorado, sign a warrant requiring you to be extradited back to Colorado before you do that. That process takes about 60 to 90 days. That hearing that I would set here in Arizona is civil in nature, meaning you would not be entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you could hire an attorney at your own expense if you would like to for that hearing. If you were to choose that option, you are eligible for bond. In this case, you have a cash-only bond of $3 million. If you posted that bond, you'd have written conditions of release you'd need to comply with. You would also need to ensure you attended that hearing on June 30th. If you failed to appear at that hearing, you would now have a warrant out of Maricopa County. Your Colorado warrant would still be valid, and you would forfeit the bond that you posted. Based on that information, do you know what option you would like to do here today, sir?
I'd like to waive.
You'd like to waive your rights here today and go ahead and say you're ready for Colorado to pick you up? Okay. Since we are waiving some important rights, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you some important questions before we do that, and then we will get some of your signatures, okay? So, again, I just want to confirm you did read the waiver of extradition paperwork, which was that laminated card?
Yes.
Okay. And you do understand that you do not have to sign this paperwork?
Yes.
And you do understand that you have the right to an extradition hearing. That would be that hearing on June 30th?
Yes.
And do you understand that you have the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense?
Yes.
And do you understand you have the right to demand that a governor's warrant be signed by both governors of each state before you're returned?
Yes.
And do you understand that you would have a right to bail, in this case a cash bond of $3 million?
Yes.
And do you want to give up those rights and sign this paperwork?
Yes.
And has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to sign this paperwork?
No.
And have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication within the last 24 hours?
No.
I find that you are knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily signing this waiver, and I am also going to sign it. I am directing the Sheriff's Office to notify the requesting state that you are ready to return. The requesting state will have 30 days from tomorrow to pick you up unless you have local charges pending. If you have local charges pending, then the 30 days will not start until the conclusion of that case. Did you have any questions, sir?
No.
Okay. In just one moment, we are going to ask you to step up here. We're going to need a couple of signatures from you to indicate you are waiving those rights. Okay, are you ready for them? Yes. Okay, if you'll just come right over here, she'll tell you when to.
Not so arrogant now, are you, Barry?
No. His ass is grass and he knows it.
He knows he's cooked. You know what, Barry? You know what you could do that would be the best thing you could possibly do for your children who you robbed of their mother? Plead.
Yeah.
Plead guilty.
Plead guilty.
Go to prison.
The stuff that his dumbass attorney said is what blows me away.
Ugh. His attorney is disgusting. I'm assuming this is the same attorney as last time because he was
I
terrible.
believe it is.
Yep. Oh, she's been found, Jane. That's why he
Oh,
finally
yeah.
got arrested.
Yeah. Her
Yeah.
body's been found. His attorney said nothing has changed since the case before. I'm like, are
Except for
you
that her
insane? Like,
body was found.
yeah.
Paula, I have no idea if his daughters still support him. We've wondered about that a lot too. Because boy, they sure did last time. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I mean, I wonder how they must have felt when her body was found and identified.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, that was in 2023.
These poor girls have been through, and they're just young adults. I mean, they have been through absolute hell. You know, and I will never fault a kid for supporting their parent, especially when the other one is dead, because A, they've been under the thumb and the whatever training they've received from this human,
right,
and the gaslighting and the manipulation and the bullshit, but also they're losing their parents. You know, they've already lost one, now they stand to lose another. You don't know how you would react if it was you. So I'm always really reticent to judge anybody in that position because what would you do? You know?
Well, and I mean, at the time, the charges were dropped against him and he was released. So that would be, you know, I think you could see where that might go.
For sure. But I would
now
definitely curious to know how they're feeling now, except for like devastated, you know?
Yeah.
Completely devastated.
I would imagine.
What a horrible, sad situation. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where it's at. I did kind of jokingly make a suggestion on Twitter that maybe he ought to consider going pro se, mostly just because I want to see it, but that's very selfish.
Oh my God. He's such an arrogant dick. Ugh.
Can you imagine him defending himself?
I can, and I don't want to.
Now that Darrell Brooks and Lori have given us a taste, I want more. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Oh my God.
But how freaking weird is it that they arrested him in Gilbert, Arizona?
That is so weird.
I cannot get over it.
And I mean, what a fucked up thing. Like his whole thing was that she just ran off with her boyfriend. I don't know where she went. Blah, blah, blah. Well, he really gave a damn, didn't he? Because he certainly didn't stay in the area in case something bad had happened to her.
No, he was going to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can tell from the way he was answering those questions, though, he's cooked and he knows it.
Yeah, like, pretty defeated. Because, boy, if you saw videos of him in the past, he was as arrogant as could possibly be. But he knows he's screwed this time. Yeah, but for his attorney to say that nothing has changed when there was no body last time and there's a body this time is crazy.
And a cause of death?
Yeah.
They have a cause of death. Yeah, he thought they'd never find her, or if they did, they wouldn't be able to prove how she died.
Yep. I can't. He probably had no idea that those meds would seep into her bones.
Right.
That somehow they would make it into her bones. But I have to ask, I wonder, and I don't know anything about this med combo, but either did he just give her such a walloping dose? Or had he done this before?
Right.
Could one-time exposure to this combo of meds actually get into her bones? The time that killed her? Or had he?
Well, my question was, though, I mean, if he used a tranq gun on her, did it actually hit a bone?
Okay, that's a good question.
That way? That I was not sure about.
Yeah, that's a good
question. Remember all of his bullshit stories about why he had the tranq gun to begin with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something about hunting.
Squirrels.
He was using it for hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
squirrels
squirrels
in the yard.
And like, you need this high-powered animal tranquilizer for squirrels?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, on deer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember, something about deer, and it was so stupid. Like, why?
And also, like, what? What? I mean, we already thought you were a monster, but now this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a deer farm. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Oh, I didn't realize that either. I never understood the deer and animal tranquilizer shit.
Oh yeah, they have some digital. They had some digital data before, but it was like all they had, and it just wasn't enough.
And she was found a few counties over in an extremely rugged rural place. It's such a fluke. They found her while looking for someone else who was missing. It was just a kismet that they found her at all, honestly.
Yep. He never thought they would, that's for sure. Remember at the time, people were absolutely sure that she was encased in cement somewhere.
Yes, yeah, because he did some construction or had friends who did construction, remember?
He had a connection to an excavation of cement
some
company.
Idea that, she'd been buried under a parking lot or something.
Or in a foundation to somebody's house or some crazy thing.
Yeah.
That turned out to just, well, it wasn't true. She was actually just discarded along the side of the road somewhere.
Yeah.
In a really rural place. Yeah, it's an absolutely amazing feat that they found her at all. And the fact that they are able to indict him and have some very solid evidence, I truly did not think this day would come.
I really wasn't sure either. And it's been so long since they found her body. I had wondered if they just couldn't get enough from it to know what happened.
This will take forever to go to trial. But when it does, I am going to be stuck to it. We will follow this into infinitum.
We will.
I was thinking about, I cannot wait to hear from the digital people and cannot wait to hear from the person who did the autopsy and the technical people, the science people in his trial. That's going to be fascinating.
Yeah,
and
it
also,
is. Because they do have
Suzanne
GPS data.
justice.
They do have phone data that I think, they just couldn't find her body to figure out where he had been. But there's going to be a lot. He did
put his phone on airplane mode that day for a certain amount of time. And in fact, that was part of what was discussed before, is he had his phone on airplane mode and on and off and on and off, which was weird behavior for him and his phone.
Yeah. Because, how often do you put your phone in airplane mode unless you're on an airplane?
We'll definitely cover that trial. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we'll cover that trial.
I'll bet it's 3 years down the road, but
because he's going to be he's going to be one of those kind of defendants. It's going to
drag it out.
He's going to put up a robust defense. Let's just put it that way.
Oh yeah, for sure he will.
It'll take him a long time to get there,
and he can afford to. Yeah,
he can,
without a doubt. So, but good news, really good news. Maybe someday there will be justice for Suzanne.
Yeah. Oh, Teresa says airplane mode in church. Gotcha. But see, that makes sense. Like you probably do that every time. But on just some random, on Mother's Day, you're throwing your phone on, off and on, it's sketchy. The way that they can determine like what is our regular habits and what isn't based on the use of our phones is kind of scary, honestly.
It's so true. Yeah. So that's what I've got.
Well, I think that's enough. That is, we'll be keeping an eye on both of these situations because I want to see Judge Don Torgerson removed from the bench, whether he does it himself or not. And definitely we're going to keep a close eye on the Barry Morphew case because Suzanne Morphew and her family deserve justice.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, we are back for just a normal week this week. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Mountain. We will be covering the case of the missing LDS youth from our community.
Yeah.
So come for that. We'll probably have a lot of things to tell you that you might not know about polygamy and stuff like that. We'll be back on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Mountain, our usual time for case updates, and back again on Thursday at 3 p.m. Mountain for our regular live stream on Thursdays. So stick with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, leave us a review wherever you can. And if you would like to support us, you can do that in lots of ways by going to truecrimesquad.com. And you know it. We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
Bye.
Season 6, we're back again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.